Now you were very late. I didn't think you'd keep me waiting in the rain for so long.
FBI Special Agent, Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
Agent York?
Good, that's good. Are you the sheriff?
No, I'm Deputy Sheriff Emily Wyatt. George, he's the sheriff. He went looking for you, actually. He should be back soon.
I see.
If you don't mind me asking, did you walk all the way here?
My car broke down, that's all. She's easy on the eyes. Definitely worth a trip to the primitive world.
By the way, don't mention anything about what happened back there. She'll think you're a psycho. Don't want that, do we, Zach?
Welcome to Greenville. I'm the sheriff, George Woodman. Call me George.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
Could you tell me why the FBI is so interested in a small-town homicide?
Let's just say it's a personal interest in killers of young women. I'm always looking for new sample cases to help me with my profiling.
Both our superiors have cleared this with each other. You can remain in command. You don't have a problem with this, do you?
No. No problem. Just want to set things straight. Our small town has its share of problems. I'm the one fixing them one by one and maintaining peace and order. You can have your profiling sample, but I need you to understand that.
Of course, of course. By the way, George, I had a little accident with my car. Could you send someone to take care of it? Oh, and my clothes and luggage are still inside.
All right, don't worry. I'll get my assistant Thomas to take care of it. Do you need anything else?
Thanks. That'll be all. Well then, I think I'll rest up first at the hotel. Then I'll join you on your investigation.
Don't know how to say that. We really don't need your help. Unlike some of your corrupt city police officers, I play it by the book. I hope you'll come to appreciate that, Agent Morgan. And we'll handle the investigation. You just think of this as a vacation. Take it easy. Enjoy the nature here. You don't have to be a tree worshiper to appreciate the wildlife here.
Zach, let's reassess the situation. There are no cavemen here. We're as far forward as the Middle Ages. And we've just met the king.
The victim's name was Anna Graham. Age 18, she just recently graduated from high school this year. Her dream was to move out to the city and become a model. But for the time being, she was working in the A&G diner here in town. She lived with her mother, Sally. Anna's father died in an accident in the lumber mill when she was a child. Her mother is unemployed and lives on the insurance money from her husband's accident. After all, it's a small town with a low cost of living. Financially, they seem to get by fine, and they led normal lives.
A normal life is exactly what a curious teenager doesn't want. It's all starting to make sense, Zach.
City folk, huh? No, I take that back. All of them can't be as bad as him, and some should have better manners.
Huh.
This is a good biscuit. I've never tasted a biscuit this delicious. Where in town can I get these?
Well, actually, I baked them myself.
That's amazing. What are you doing in law enforcement? I'm very particular about biscuits, I'll have you know. The balance of milk and butter you've achieved here. Oh, my.
Agent Morgan, the autopsy's ready. You are welcome to accompany me to the Greenville General Hospital. Emily, you come too. Thomas, stay here and tidy up these files.
Yes, sir.
We're going to use the car outside. Let's get going. You might think this is just a small-town police investigation, but our inspections are thorough and solid. I'm hoping you won't slow us down. The Greenville General Hospital is down the road by the lake. It's too far to walk. Come on, get in the car.
If I'm riding in a car, George, I prefer to be the driver. Can you provide a car for me?
What are you talking about? You don't even know how to get there.
Which is another good reason for me to drive, George. I need to learn my way around town.
Oh, man. Very well. Then I'll ride with you. I want to keep an eye on you.
Fair enough.
Just one thing, Agent Morgan. Your involvement in this case is limited. That means you don't have to learn your way around town.
George, we'd better get moving. The hospital closes at 2100.
Agent Morgan, get us there quickly, but drive within the speed limit. Just because you have a badge doesn't mean you can drive like a maniac.
George, what are you, his mother?
We just need to get the autopsy results.
Agent York isn't accustomed to the town yet. Give him a little slack. Well then, Agent York, let's get going.
Sure, sounds good.
Agent Morgan, I can't help noticing you prefer to work alone.
Most of the time, yes.
Don't you get lonely, flying all over the country alone?
I must say I've never felt lonely.
Are you married?
Unfortunately, relationships and I are fleeting strangers. I don't get on very well with women, you might be surprised to hear.
That's because you're young. You notice things like that at my age. You have to treat women carefully, like a thin crystal wine glass. If you don't, they can cut scars on your face, just like yours, right?
George, is this an interrogation? I see you're a seasoned professional. But let's not talk about my scar. It was caused by a problematic woman.
Well, she got you good. Terribly good.
It'll fade away, and nobody will notice it in a week.
A week? It's not that light of a wound.
So, Emily, tell me, is there really a need for a full-time sheriff in a small town like this?
I'm sure it is small to your city eyes, but any gathering of people leads to all kinds of problems. Fights, runaways, stray pets.
You're too fixated on violent crimes. Our job is to guide the people along the correct path, first and foremost. That's what I consider to be my duty as the sheriff of Greenville.
Zach, there he is, the monarch, in all his glory. Kind of makes me glad that I wasn't born here.
Did you say something, Agent Morgan?
No, nothing, George. I was just reflecting on a little history.
Well, we're in the middle of a homicide investigation. Keep your mind on the matter at hand.
Okay, which right now is driving. That's a pretty big hospital. I guess they wanted to be ready for town-wide food poisoning?
No, it's another leftover from the town's prosperous slumber days. Hard to imagine now, though, isn't it?
My mother always talked about how energetic this town used to be. Almost like a gold rush, she used to say.
Impressive.
But the hotter the fever, the faster it cools. And so now there's hardly anyone left to use this place.
It pains me to watch my hometown lose so many citizens. Beyond your understanding, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sorry to say that it is.
Indeed. And that's why this case is our problem. There really isn't any need for you to get too involved.
we couldn't find him.
Fiona needs to check her information.
No, I don't think so. Does the doctor like playing games by any chance?
What do you mean?
There's a message on the computer, and a card key already set in place. The king passes the rook and meets the bishop. The knight takes a pawn along for the queen.
What does that all mean?
It's a simple puzzle.
Zach, let's take him up on his challenge. You can do this, right?
The doctor awaits below with the deceased.
Another code? But there's nowhere to insert a password.
More games. I'm going to get Fiona to call Usha up here right now.
No need, George. The message appeared with the card key. It's telling us where to use it.
This is not the time to be joking around, Agent Morgan.
Dr. Usha is below with the deceased. With Anna. Below being underground, I take it. Simple. Simple. Then it's time to meet the mischievous architect of this little game.
Nah.
From the onset of rigor mortis, the stiffening of the muscles, the time of death is estimated to be between 20 and 2200 hours. That's still quite early for such a crime to take place. Note that there are 2 exterior wounds, pressure marks around the neck, and a long cut running from chest to abdomen. Blood marks on her right hand tell us she was gripping something round in her right hand. Her skull is also fractured, but that is unrelated to the cause of death. It probably happened to her after she was killed. Now, I first thought death by suffocation, due to the marks on her neck. But after further investigation, I now have a different conclusion. The direct cause of death was loss of blood from the wound.
Which means...
She was cut up while she was still alive.
Yes, a sharp knife was used. It was inserted beneath the sternum and then quickly sliced downwards. The excessive loss of blood from her internal organs is what actually killed her. Her nails are clean, and with no skin cells from the attacker. She also doesn't appear to have been bound nor badly beaten. She was apparently killed without resistance. The most tragic thing, however, was that she was unable to speak her story to anyone who could hear her cries.
The perpetrator cut out Anna's tongue.
Well, I believe she was drugged first to phase her consciousness, and then the killer killed her. Now, the killer most likely has a deep, traumatized past concerning women. He probably cannot converse with them normally. Cutting out the tongue suggests a very lonely individual. Either that, or a truly hardcore sadist. He must get off on watching women suffer, especially when they can't answer back. Now, he watched as the blood pumped from her body, as she gradually grew cold. Now, a case in Seattle in 1985 was much like...
Usha, please, limit your report to your findings as a doctor. Criminal profiling is my job. You're wrong, also. Anna died fully, deeply, painfully aware of what was happening to her.
But,
Tell me, what time did it stop raining on the night Anna was killed?
Just before I went to bed, right after the movie on TV ended, so around 1 a.m.?
What movie was it?
An American Werewolf in London.
Directed by John Landis, 1981. So the rain stopped, accompanied by the ending song, Blue Moon. George, would you mind if I examined Anna myself?
What more do you hope to find?
I'm sure I mentioned that I have a personal interest in cases like these. From her lack of resistance, I'd say that Anna's injuries happened very quickly. Unable to speak, she was then left to cry herself to death.
Zach, it's all starting to come together.
The perpetrator stayed with her for at least 2 hours until it stopped raining. At the estimated time of her death, it was still raining, but you can still see tear marks on her cheeks. That means she was killed under a roof somewhere. She was then carried into the woods after it stopped raining.
there's one other thing. Her tongue was removed with a very blunt knife. In fact, it's more likely it was simply chopped off.
Asha, are you a passionate man?
Well, not particularly, but I am man enough should the moment call for it.
George, how about you?
I'm very passionate. Yes. Especially when it comes to women. But I don't see what that has to do with anything.
George, the perpetrator is just like you. He's passionate about women. He's a passionate kisser. This was a kiss of death.
The perpetrator bit off Anna's tongue.
We'll never get a dental print from a wound like this. But this is still a big lead.
Jackpot, Zach. A shame, but our old-time all-American sightseeing tour just came to an end.
This case is now under the jurisdiction of the FBI. I'm assuming command. I'll need you to assist me in the investigation.
What in the hell do you mean, Agent Morgan? I know I said I was passionate, but you can't think I did this.
That's not why I'm assuming command, George. You're a suspect just as much as every other passionate man on Earth. Let me show you something. There you go. Amazing, huh? I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but most of the details are top secret. George, Emily, we should be going. No need to stay here any longer.
Okay. I have to sign the release. Just give me a moment.
Very well. I'll go on ahead. I can't take it any longer down here. Bishop takes queen. His rook takes your queen. Then your knight takes rook. And checkmate.
Huh?
My first victory in the Grandmaster ranking.
Agent Morgan, if you're so desperate, then why not smoke two at once?
Who's that old man?
That's Harry. Harry Stewart. One of the bigger problems around here. His father started up the lumber trade and founded this town. He's a weird one, as I'm sure you can see. Always dressed like that, never speaking to the townsfolk. And just FYI, he owns almost the entire town. Not that that makes any difference. So long as I'm around, he won't be getting away with any funny business.
Mr. Francis York Morgan, haste won't lead you to what you seek. Keep your eyes focused on your footing as we speak. So says Mr. Stewart.
Nice to meet you, too. How did you know my name?
Mr. Francis York Morgan, information desires you, just as you desire information too. So says Mr. Stewart.
Harry, stop trying to get in our way. Keep this up, and even you'll have to answer to the law.
Mr. Francis York Morgan, with each rain our town goes mad. To our disdain, unpreventable. So sad. So says Mr. Stewart.
Thanks for the warning.
Then we shall depart, Mr. Francis York Morgan.
That's how he always is. Always spouting that nonsense. Don't give it any thought. It's all gibberish.
Emily here. Uh-huh. Oh. Okay, thank you, Thomas. Agent York, we've contacted the first witnesses to the crime scene. You can interview them where they found the dead body.
Excellent. I was just about to ask if you could take me there.
The body was found in the Greenville Forest Park. That's west from here, and too far to walk.
A forest park?
It's the pride of the town. It has a beautiful trail leading to a viewing site over Velvet Falls.
That does sound fantastic. Show me the sights.
That may have to wait. We promised to be there by 1800 to interview the first witnesses to the crime scene.
Agent Morgan, if I could just give you a friendly warning.
Are you really upset about me taking over the case? I have the authority approved by the FBI to assume command. I understand you don't like it, but you will follow my orders.
I'm not disputing FBI authority, but this is our town. You won't get far alone, and you gain nothing by antagonizing me.
It's part of my personality. I just do things my way. I can take you off the case if you wish.
Stop it, you two. We need to solve this case, not bicker among ourselves.
Is this government land?
No, it's private. Owned by Harry.
This whole area?
That's right. I'm sure I mentioned that he owns pretty much the whole town.
He used the money left by his father to buy up most of the town. Many town residents live on his land.
Zach, did you hear that? This entire park. A rich man's personal playground. These country rich folk are amazing. It all looks very well kept, too. I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please call me York. It's what everyone calls me.
And you are Jim Green?
That I am, son. I keep these woods.
Well, you're doing a fine job.
Well, I used to be a tree surgeon.
And these two discovered the body?
Yes, my grandchildren, Isaac and Isaiah.
Zach, you see that? Twins. Just like in my dream. We gotta keep an eye on these two.
I'm sorry. Could we talk away from the boys? I want to help your investigation, but I don't want them to hear this.
Very well. Emily, please.
I'll just take them over there then.
Thank you.
Hold on. Don't do anything without asking me. These children were the first to witness the crime scene. I want to talk to them.
Come on, they're just kids. They have no idea what really happened to Anna.
That doesn't matter. You agree with me, right, Zach?
How heartless. Do you ever think of other people's feelings, ever?
Emily's right. That's stone cold, even for the sake of investigation.
Children see things in pure, simple terms. They may have seen something we adults would never spot, and they are here at our request as well. We could at least chat with them and see if they want to make a statement.
Are you serious?
I never joke about matters like this.
Oh my God.
Don't worry. They aren't as fragile as you think. Look at them, standing so upright there. Now then, Isaac, Isaiah, tell me, what did you find here? How many women wear high stiletto heels in this town, do you think?
Oh, I should think most of them have at least one pair. I do too, before you ask. But nobody would come all the way out here wearing them, except maybe one person.
Don't keep me in the dark, then. Who might this elegant lady be?
Diane, the owner of the art gallery. But she's out of town for a big art auction. I heard she'll be coming back in a couple days.
Then we'll just have to give her a warm welcome home. A more immediate matter, then. Where in town can you find something like this? It should be a building that isn't used anymore, with either a lot of metal or metal machinery or something like that.
The old lumber mill.
Then it's time to really get this show on the road. Could you guide me to this perfect setting for extravagant murder? George, profiling is a risky business. Of course, if the unsub planted those stiletto footprints himself, well then, everything I've just said falls apart. But there's no evidence that he left those stiletto footprints. I'm sure we have Miss Stiletto Heels to thank for those tracks. All I can do is deduce the unsub's feelings in light of the evidence, and carefully figure the unsub's MO, modus operandi, his way of thinking. It usually unveils something that a normal forensic analysis may overlook. That's my way of profiling. It's not for everyone, but it works for me.
When I first joined the force, this lumber mill was still in full swing.
It closed up right when I first moved here.
And now it's totally abandoned.
I presume so. I've never really been inside, so I don't know for sure, but it sure is run down.
Deserted buildings are perfect for criminal hideouts and activities. I keep telling Harry to have the place torn down.
Probably a little late for that. After all, has already been used as the site of Anna's murder.
We don't know that for sure yet, Agent Morgan.
That's right, from your point of view. But the perpetrator selected the lumber.
Agent York, you seem very confident about this.
Confident? No. Confidence is a sweet spot between being rude and hopeless. I'm just drawing natural conclusions from the facts that we have seen.
That sounds exactly like being full of confidence, at least to me, and to normal people with common sense.
Common sense can be the opposite of fact sometimes. Bear that in mind.
Oh, I will, Agent York. Thank you for another pearl of wisdom.
Either way, we'll know for sure by simply going to the lumber mill. So keep your pearls of wisdom to yourself, and let's hurry.
Well said, George. Can you step on it, Agent York?
I'm going in alone. You two stay here. I can't concentrate on profiling with other people around me.
Now hold on a minute. We're investigating this case together.
Listen, I can't risk the crime scene being compromised by you two.
What are you saying? You're not the only professional law enforcement officer here, Agent Morgan. You know how to secure a crime scene.
I'm sorry. That was rude of me. But this is how I operate. Furthermore...
Yes? Furthermore what?
To me, the outsider FBI agent, every citizen of this town is a suspect. You two could be in on this whole thing for all I know. I have to keep suspects out of the crime scene.
How can you say such a thing? Is he making fun of us? We should have left him behind and come here by ourselves.
You're right. I've never been so insulted.
I'm sorry, but I'm just doing my job. Have you seen any of these things before?
No, not that I know of. But that raincoat is a little odd.
Odd? In a town where it rains so much?
Well, the people here rarely go out in the rain. I moved here during high school, and I never really understood why. Can you shed some light on this, George?
Oh, well, there's an old story, folklore. It's a fairy tale, to me. Something about a killer in a raincoat who appears on rainy nights. A vicious killer in a bright red raincoat. Yeah, that was it. Just a foolish piece of superstition. A rubbish story someone made up. Not many people still believe it, but I guess it's a traditional place. Most of the shops still close up when it rains. School's out, too. And since there's no reason to go out, not many people ever wear raincoats.
And now the raincoat killer has leapt out from his picture book. Oh, by the way, would you two kindly show me your backs?
Our backs? Is this related to the case?
The person with the upside-down peace mark in that photo we found. He's our killer.
And what makes you so sure about that?
Zach and I saw him kill Anna in the lumber mill. He killed her. Right in there. Oh, one thing. Please don't ask me about Zach. That's a private matter.
Anyway, by showing me your backs, we can clear up most of my concerns about you. Isn't that for the best? You do want to remove yourselves from the suspect list. It will make things a lot easier.
This is insane. Your methods are rude, insulting, and out of the question. And Emily is a female officer. Forcing her to show you her back is harassment. I don't care if you are FBI or not. You are out of line.
George, it's okay. Let's just show him and get it over with.
Emily, are you crazy?
Look, we flash our backs and he'll start trusting us a little more. Right? Agent York? Are you satisfied now?
Yes. My apologies.
Now you, George.
Yeah, okay. I can't refuse it now, can I? But don't expect to get your way all the time, Agent Morgan.
Huh?
George.
What are these scars?
Just like your Mr. Zack. Something private. I don't have to tell you about it.
Of course. Just like Zack. We can understand that, right, Zack?
Anyway, this will make things a lot easier from now on. I'm glad to say you're both pretty much off the hook. Thank you for your cooperation.
If anyone is suspicious around here, it's him. He's the most suspicious.
No, I don't think so. But he certainly is the most irritating.
We've studied the crime scene. You know what we have to do next, Zack.
George, can we arrange to have the townfolk gather in one place? There are some things I want to address with the townfolk.
Very well. I'll arrange to have as many as possible gather in the community center tomorrow.
Thank you, George.
Welcome back, everyone.
Thomas. Agent Morgan, it's past 2100. Let's meet up again at the community center tomorrow. I haven't been sleeping much since this all started, to be honest. I'm exhausted.
I was just about to suggest the same thing.
I'll make arrangements for people to gather between 1500 and 1700. I'll try and get as many people as I can to come, so don't be late, okay? Don't be late.
I'll be there.
The community center's on the south side. I've marked it on your map.
Thanks, Thomas.
Well then, see you tomorrow.
Zack, I haven't been on stage like this since elementary school. I'm not some tree in the wind this time, either. That was a tough role. That was a piece of scenery. Bright red tree.
Thank you, all for coming today. Getting right down to business. Agent Morgan, from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, wishes to speak with you.
Good afternoon. I'm Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Some of you are already aware by now of the tragic murder of Anna Graham. Truly a heinous, terrible crime. I've come to this town to solve the murder of this young, beautiful girl, and to bring the one responsible to justice. Unfortunately, incidents like these have a tendency to happen again. I asked to have you gathered here so I can share some advice in order to minimize the risk of further fatal incidents. Firstly, please, stay away from any dark, dangerous, isolated places. Those of you with children, especially of Anna's age, please guide your children away from such places at all costs. Secondly, avoid going out when it is raining. Now, I've heard the folklore story of the Raincoat Killer. There is a chance that the murderer is mimicking the story. Women should also be especially careful. I would hate to see more victims. Who's the fashionably late one?
That's Carol, Thomas's sister. She owns a bar.
Thomas's sister.
Excuse me. So, as I have said, avoid going outside when it is raining. Young women should be especially careful. Report anything or anyone suspicious immediately. The murderer will be caught and brought to justice. But you must all remain on guard until we do so. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
When paying for our sins, we must not frown. The loss of Anna was for that debt. When purple fog covers our town, we'll all wander in hell, I fret. So says Mr. Stewart.
Sure knows how to steal thunder.
Well then, Zach, let's ask some questions before all these guys leave.
Well then, Agent York, do you have any plans for this evening?
I was going to head back to the hotel and go over my notes. I need to contact HQ and give a progress report, too.
Okay, then let's call it a day here.
Sounds good.
Contact my office when you finish your report. We'll pick you up tomorrow morning. Diane, the owner of the art gallery, should be back soon.
All right, then. Let's do that.
Hold on, Agent York. We're going out to eat at Nick's Diner. Would you like to come with us?
The diner. That might be nice.
Thomas is a great cook, but Nick is the real deal. No visit to Greenville is complete without eating at the A&G.
A very appealing proposition. Zach, what do you think? We can always go back to the hotel after eating dinner, or go directly back to the hotel. You decide, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sheriff here for a long time now, and this is the worst murder I've ever seen.
Our town is a little odd in some ways, but it's usually a peaceful place.
We had our fair share of cases, but just the regular stuff. A high school kid shoplifting from the milk barn, maybe? Or some hot-headed kids fighting, fueled on liquor? Nothing more than that.
Agent York, what kind of cases have you dealt with in the past?
Not much different from those you've just mentioned. The case I was on until last month, well, the guy killed 7 girls in a 3-month period. He sawed their heads off from the neck and took them back to his house. He cleaned the skulls up and used them as utensils in his daily life, to eat from or as a urine cup. He hated women. That was his way of dealing with it. He'd fill skulls with ice, cola, and rum, then he'd down it in one gulp. For him, that was a holy ritual. The question of his mental state was the pivotal point in the court case.
Oh, man.
For me, he was insane. 100%. Drinking from the skulls, well, that is one thing, but those he had used to relieve himself, he would then just use them to drink from, too. Yeah, that was too much for me. It's just not sanitary.
not sanitary. That's probably not the problem for most of us.
What else? Ah, yes. An ingenious law school student raped over 800 victims. That was a nasty one.
Thank you, Agent York. Now, let's talk about something else.
You don't want to hear anymore? That's a shame, isn't it, Zach? I was just about to get to the good part, too.
Sounds like you live in a totally different world. I mean, you're like an elite agent who just jumped out from a movie or something. In your eyes, we must look like we're just playing cops and robbers. I give up. I can't compete with you.
Don't say that, Emily. The cases you have solved are all full-fledged crimes. A crime is a crime. Size doesn't matter. There is no big and small. Crimes always have a criminal and a victim. No victim will ever welcome a crime, no matter what its size. So, fundamentally, there is no difference in size.
Well said, Agent Morgan. We work day and night to preserve peace and order in this town. You understand that, right?
Of course, but still, I don't view shoplifting and Anna's murder as the same level of crime.
Me neither. I never even dreamt that such a thing could ever even happen in this town. I keep on expecting to see Anna here in this diner, waiting on tables.
Excuse us, Agent Morgan. We should have made dinner a more uplifting experience. Let's call it a night.
Okay. Good night, then. I've been thinking, one of the biggest rewards here is the fantastic food. Enjoying food is cultural, and yet it's also a bit uncivilized. It's interesting how good food motivates me to work harder during investigations.
Oh, and on Emily's back, it was strange to me. Hey, don't take that the wrong way, Zach. I wasn't getting all excited or anything. But it did make me feel strange. Nostalgic and sad almost.
It's starting to rain. I think this case may take a while.
Good morning, Agent Morgan. Did you sleep well?
Morning, George. Dreamland was quite nice.
You do look well rested. Oh, I was up practically all night doing paperwork. Thomas helped me out, so I was able to go home and get some sleep, but not enough.
Diane got back into town late last night. We should give her a visit.
Which means going to the art gallery, correct?
She lives and works in the office there, so it's the only place to find her. The gallery is open from 10 to 1700.
Time for some art appreciation. A cultural activity in such a small countryside town. Amazing, Zach.
The gallery is called Muses Gallery. The Muses were the 9 daughters of the goddess of memory in Greek mythology.
Ah, it's just like Diane to name it that way.
Is she that intelligent a woman?
Oh, maybe. You'll see for yourself soon enough.
Did you see how Emily reacted, Zach? I sense that this Diane is not popular among other women. I can't wait to meet her.
The gallery is on the north side of town. Take the road along the lake and go north.
An art gallery in such a small town. Am I prejudiced to think that it doesn't seem to fit?
Greenville and every small town has every right to enjoy art.
That's right. Small towns tend to be full of highly cultured people. Although I can't say I've ever been to the gallery myself.
George, what about you? Are you into art?
Actually, yes. I like going to the gallery. It's very relaxing there.
Really, George? I never knew that about you for all this time.
Emily, please. I'm just as cultured as everyone else.
Some people just have sides to them that you'd never expect. By the way, about Diane, of the gallery. Is she the type that isn't very appreciated by other women?
What do you mean?
Exactly what it sounds like, Emily. Is she very attractive, especially to the opposite sex?
So you're asking if she's sexy, right?
Well, she does always wear high heels.
And definitely, it's, hard to explain.
But that doesn't make me biased, okay? She just seems to look down on people. She always has. I just don't like people like that.
That must be because sex appeal has no effect on you.
Now that's out of line.
I'm sorry, Emily, I didn't mean to poke fun at you. You just reacted so strongly to Diane's name.
I did not. It's like you're suggesting I'm the total opposite of her. Is that it?
Oh, Emily, that's not what anyone is suggesting. Let's just drop this conversation, okay?
Looks more like an old mansion than an art gallery.
Diane liked the building so much she turned it into an art gallery.
She left the exterior untouched and had the insides redone.
So she's rich.
She bought this place, didn't she? Does that answer your question?
Indeed it does. Well, George, Emily, I want to talk with Diane alone. Will you wait here for me?
Don't tell me you still don't trust us.
No, that's not it. But this is very important to me. I always make sure that I meet with the important ones, one-on-one. Otherwise, it's difficult to sense the subtle reactions of the suspect. This is just how I do things, and I'd appreciate your understanding.
But go on then. You're not going to listen to us anyway, are you?
You're starting to understand me, George.
Well then, Zach, let's go and meet Lady Diane.
I had a chat with Diane. She said she was at the bar drinking with Nick at the time of the murder. We need to confirm her story. Let's talk to Nick at the diner.
Very well, Agent Morgan. I have to head back to the department and clear up some paperwork. Go with Emily to the A&G diner.
Okay then.
I'll show you the way. The diner's open from 9 to 2100.
Just as we suspected, Zach. Diane is the key to this case. I have a feeling she will lead us right to the criminal.
Emily, do you know a man named Forrest Kaysen?
Kaysen? Yes, I know him. The sapling salesman, right? He always uses strange comparisons when he talks.
I'd like to know more about him. What does he do when he comes to town?
He's a salesman, so I guess he sells things? Maybe he comes on vacation. We haven't seen many tourists recently, but he comes pretty often.
Is that all?
Well, now that you mention it, he seems quite friendly with the Ingrams, with Isaac and Isaiah. Maybe you should ask them about Kaysen.
Okay, I will. Emily, don't you find it a bit suffocating to be around George so much?
Well, we aren't always together. And anyway, I've gotten used to him.
Impressive. Women are very adaptable.
No, it's not like that, actually. George is hard-headed, sure, but he's also a hard-working man. That's why the townsfolk trust him so much.
The very epitome of the rural sheriff.
That's right. He isn't some hotshot FBI agent. This place isn't like the city. Everyone knows everyone else.
What about you and Anna? Were you two close?
No, not close, really. I don't seem to have much in common with teenagers nowadays. All they talk about are boys, clothes, and accessories. I don't have much interest in any of those things.
There is a gap between a teenager and being in your 20s.
Everyone's different, that's all. Me and you, too.
Zach, I'm not liking the way this conversation is heading. Let's concentrate on driving instead.
The A&G Diner. Wonder what the A and G stand for. Any ideas, Emily?
Nope, I don't know either.
Air and gravity, perhaps? Access and games? Aliens and Godzilla? Who knows?
Is it important to know? I mean, why don't you just ask Nick?
Oh, I will. But first, I need to eat. Wonder what's good here.
Welcome, Mr. Agent.
Hi, Olivia. Let me have your special for today. And some fresh coffee.
Our special today is turkey. A turkey and gravy sandwich. Sound good?
Oh, perfect. Emily, you eat something too. It'll be on the FBI.
Okay then, I'll go all out. I'll have the T-bone steak. I usually can't order it because it's a little too expensive.
Mrs. Olivia Cormack,
Okay.
I am here for Mr. Stewart's lunch. If it is ready, I'd thank you a bunch.
Yes, of course. Just a moment. Here you go. The usual. 1 turkey, strawberry jam, and cereal sandwich.
Sounds like the sinner's sandwich. Self-inflicted punishment to atone for past sins. He's setting an example.
Mr. Francis York Morgan, you should try this wonderful lunch. It's more than a delicious, tasty crunch. So says Mr. Stewart.
No, that's fine. I've just ordered my own lunch.
Mr. Francis York Morgan, that is, Mr. Stewart's order is delicious, I should mention. And Mr. Nick Cormack is a genius for creating this perfection. So says Mr. Stewart.
Still, I have a hunch I might not like it. You sure that sandwich is that good?
Mr. Francis York Morgan, making decisions based on intuitions is always a sign of bad FBI agents. So says Mr. Stewart.
Harry, you're right. I'll give it a try. I can't believe it. This is fantastic. It's really good. Olivia, I'm sorry, but can I change my order? I'll have what Harry is having. Nick and Diane. They hardly make the perfect couple, do they? Is it widely known that they go drinking together, just the two of them?
To be honest, I don't pay attention to these things.
Not into local gossip?
Well, when I moved here, I was still in high school, and I kept wearing the same wild clothes from my school in Seattle. I was young back then. And before I knew it, there were rumors all over the school. She'll screw anyone. That's what they said. Totally unfounded, of course. Anyway, after that, I just sort of chose not to really trust gossip.
I get where you're coming from. I used to dress like a hardcore punk rocker when I was in high school.
You? A punk rocker?
Nobody took my side. Even when I had good grades. People rejected me just because of what I wore. I was young back then, too.
Even still, I just don't see you as a punk rocker.
And you laugh? Look at you. With no makeup on, dressed in uniform, eating a steak for lunch. Okay, back to work. Let's talk to Nick. There's something I'd like to confirm with you, Olivia, if that's okay.
Yes, well, so long as it doesn't take too long.
First, what were you and Nick doing on the night of the murder?
I was here in the diner. Nick said he was going to the bar for a couple of drinks.
Does he go to the bar often? Leaving you to hold up the fort?
Yes. He says he enjoys the conversation with Diane. I thought they went drinking again together that night.
Do the three of you ever go drinking together?
Well, you see, I'm really not into art.
And your husband is well versed in the arts then, I take it?
Oh, yes. Looking at art and talking about it is his way of relaxing.
People just aren't what they seem. Like a certain someone who was into punk rock 10 years ago.
You are absolutely right, Emily. But you can be an art lover and a liar at the same time. One more thing, Olivia. You just said that you aren't interested in art.
That's right. And...
So, how come I bumped into you at the art gallery? Didn't seem like Nick brought you there. You were there alone.
Well, I like trees, is the thing. That's why I went there.
Surely you'd be better off in the forest rather than an art gallery then. I think you went to the gallery not to see trees, but to see Diane, right? You don't want to answer? Or perhaps this isn't the right place to ask.
Meet me in the backyard. You can get there from the parking lot. I'll wait for you there for an hour after we close up.
They close at 2100. Should we get something to drink and wait? Agent York, what do we do now?
I want to hear what Olivia has to say. Let's kill time until the diner closes.
Okay, then I'm gonna make a trip back to the department. I'll see you in the backyard later.
Okay, sounds good.
See you later then.
Zach, about Olivia. I presume she wants to tell us something about Nick and Diane. Let's hope it's not just something for the gossip columns.
Well then, Olivia, talk to me.
Yes. In the beginning, Nick only went to the gallery during the day, but he went so often at some point he became friendly with Diane. They started going out drinking together, and now he doesn't come home until early morning. He always says that they were only drinking when I ask. He blames me for not being able to talk about Turner and Rembrandt, which of course I can't, can I? So what can I say? Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, so I followed him. He did go to the bar, to start with. Diane was there too, but the real problem is where they go to next, right? So I waited outside the bar to see where they might go. And they eventually left the bar and headed for the art gallery. But it was already early morning, but it was still dark. Just before going inside, Diane turned around. It should have been too dark to see me, but I swear, her eyes looked right at me. They seemed to flash for a moment. I was so rattled that I left and went home. The next day, Anna was found dead. I didn't know what to do. I went to the gallery to talk with Diane about it, to confront her. But once I was there, I couldn't find the courage to go through with it. Then I saw you there, and I just felt I had to go home. Nick has been seeing Diane every night recently. He just left for tonight, too. I really don't know what to do.
York, we gotta take Nick in for questioning.
No, not yet. This alone isn't enough.
Emily, answer me!
This is Emily. Agent York is with me, too.
I've just received word from Thomas at the Sheriff's Department. Something has happened at Becky's house. It was called in by Quint, but he wasn't making any sense. We have no further details. I've sent Thomas over there. Can you go back him up?
Yes, sir.
One other thing. It sounded like he said, Raincoat Killer. This may well be related to the murder case. Take all due precautions.
No! It couldn't be! Nick? Oh, please, no! What can I do? Nick!
Olivia, calm down.
Emily, take care of Olivia. I'm heading over to Becky's.
She lives in the big house over by the lake. Hurry!
Zach, she's still alive. Who did this? Who was it, Becky?
Becky! What happened here?
George, stay back. She's trying to speak.
We don't have time! She's dying! Thomas, cut that wire. No! We must get her to the hospital immediately. What? What are you doing? Get out of the way! I'll do it!
No, don't! George, stop!
us good this time, Zach.
My dear sister, I'm so sorry. I was a fool to fall for a man like him. I don't have the words to apologize to Anna.
I left her there. She was suffering so much, and I just ran away. I know he wanted to kill me too, but I'm not going to let him get away with this. I followed him after he was finished. He carried Anna into the woods. Anna was holding on to that precious locket of his. He couldn't remove it from her hand, even though she was dead. But she let go of it for me, though. It was like she gave it to me. So I brought it home. I might be able to bring Anna's killer down with it. I want you to see it. I know even he wouldn't dare to harm you. He'll catch me, though, if I go into town. I'm trapped in my house. So I've asked Isaac and Isaiah to deliver it. They totally believe that Anna became a goddess. I believe so, too. She looked so beautiful, as though she might smile back at any moment. I have something else to confess to you. I borrowed a pair of your shoes without asking and broke the heel on one of them. I'll send them along with the locket. I'm sure the shoe can be fixed.
So Becky is Miss Stiletto Heel.
And she gave the locket to the twins. Must be the special secret Lily told us about, Zach.
We'd better go and see her first thing tomorrow. Emily, who might this sister be that Becky was referring to here?
That would be Diane. Didn't you know Diane and Becky were sisters?
I should have known, Zach. We're all family here.
Isaac and Isaiah aren't here. They're apparently out with Kaysen. Let's go look for them.
With Kaysen? Sounds like a long story. Any ideas where to start looking?
Lily told me where they went. No problem. And today, we're stuck here having to search for lost children.
They're not lost. We're the ones who are lost.
And so we are, Emily. Zach, we may as well have fun if we're getting lost.
You sure know how to take your time at a time like this. I can't believe 2 people have been murdered in our town. And now 2 young children are at the center of it all. I just can't come to grips with it yet.
Crime will happen wherever there are people. And that's why we have our jobs.
It might be easier for you because you don't live here. These were people that I knew that were killed. And the murderer might be someone who lives here in this town. It's really depressing.
I know. But someone has to bring this murder to justice.
You're right, I know. But, oh, Agent York, sometimes I just think I'm not really cut out to be a cop.
Not true, Emily. You have the potential to be a superb law enforcer. You can be emotional at times, but you also possess what's most important.
I do? What do you mean?
What do you think? A sense of justice.
Justice? I must admit, I'm surprised to hear such a... how should I say this? Such an obvious answer. I thought you'd say something else.
Obvious or not, I joined the FBI in order to do what's right. And that's what's important.
I understand, but still, you seem... I'm sorry. I need some time to think.
Whatever do you want to think about?
Justice. I want to think about justice.
Zach, she's quite the philosopher, isn't she? Then again, death makes everyone a philosopher. According to Lily, Isaac and Isaiah should be here.
Then let's go and find them.
Hello again, Isaac and Isaiah. I hear you're teaching Willie to do tricks. What's your secret?
It's easy.
Really simple.
If he does it right, we give him a treat.
A cookie if he does it right.
I see. Very clever. So, tell me, you two. Could you perhaps tell me your other special secret with Becky?
No, we can't. It won't be a secret if we tell.
I'm not telling. We promised Becky.
Now that's a problem. Because I also made a promise to Becky. A promise to catch the bad man who hurt her. But I can't keep my promise if I don't know what the secret is. Do you see?
She told us to give Diane a box. It wasn't that heavy.
We took it to the art gallery and gave it to Diane.
Is that all Becky gave you?
Just when we were leaving to take the box to Diane, Becky called us back. She handed us something. It was small and round. She told us to keep it safe in our pocket and give it to Diane.
And then you met Carol on your way?
Yep, I took the round thing out of my pocket and we looked at it.
And then she talked to us.
We told her that we were on an errand for Becky. She said she'd do it for us.
But we told her no, because Becky asked us, not her. We promised Becky to do it ourselves.
So Becky did entrust the locket to them. And now Carol has it. Right, Kaysen?
Huh?
You were in the room when Carol took the locket back from Diane. I saw you with Diane in the art gallery that day.
Well, yeah, I was there in the room, but I was only chatting with Diane. Oh, then Carol burst in, all angry looking. While Carol and Diane had their talk, I just sat there like a frog. Yeah, so Carol took the locket from Diane, but that has nothing to do with me, right?
Yes, I believe so. But from this instant, you are now a key witness in this case. I'm afraid you can't leave town until you hear from me.
What? Can you do that? This is all starting to sound a little like Alice in Wonderland.
Which makes you Humpty Dumpty.
Huh?
Isaac and Isaiah, thank you. I think I'll be able to keep my promise with Becky thanks to you two.
How is Becky?
Is she getting better?
She'll come and help out at our store again, won't she?
She'll come and play with us again, won't she?
Boys, about Becky.
That's right. Becky is almost totally better now. But I don't think she'll be able to come and see you. I was told by Becky to keep this a secret. But she's actually a goddess of the forest, just like Anna. I think she's gonna be in the forest with Anna for a while.
Cool! We'll keep this a secret then, too.
Wow, that's why Anna and Becky are such good friends.
Okay, Willie.
You're happy too, aren't you?
Zach, I hope Emily doesn't end up as a forest goddess too.
So, you want to find out everything there is to know about Diane?
That's right. There's just too many things that we don't know. First, we need more intel about the relationship between Nick and Diane.
How?
Nick and Diane meet every night at the bar. Let's use that. George, we'll need you to stake out the gallery.
What do you mean?
Wait in the parking lot of the art gallery and tail Diane when she leaves. If she goes anywhere other than the bar, you let me know. Emily, you take the diner. Wait for Nick and tail him to the bar too. As with George, if he goes anywhere else, then you let me know.
Okay.
Thomas, you keep a watch on them inside the bar.
Yes, I will.
I'll be waiting in the parking lot of the bar. Once Nick and Diane are together, I will follow them wherever they go. What time do they usually show up, Thomas?
Around the same time. Usually between 22 and 2300.
Then at that time we do it, boys and girls.
Nick's still in the bar.
Just as we planned then. I wonder what happens next.
Agent York, you're really enjoying this, aren't you? I have to admit, I envy that.
Agent York, Nick is leaving the bar.
What about Diane?
She isn't here tonight.
Emily, check that with George.
George, can you hear me? Nick's leaving the bar. What's happening with Diane?
No movement. Tell me what to do here.
Stay put, George. I'm thinking Nick will head to the gallery. Let's meet up there.
10-4. Copy that.
Agent York, it's Nick.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Let's go.
Okay. Time to play with the big boys, Nick.
We'd all have halos by now if I was driving.
I think someone's putting a curse on all the cars I drive recently.
Agent York, Nick's getting away.
Don't worry, time to get serious. Hold on, you two, this might get bumpy. Is Nick here? George?
No, he hasn't showed up here.
What about Diane? Any movement?
No action here at all. Did something happen?
Yes, a little. But George, something's different about you. Are you okay?
Actually, I had a little drink while I was waiting. This is my first murder case, after all. I'm on edge, and I needed one. It was only a little, though. I'm still in control.
Zach, Nick and Diane are probably both inside.
George, you're sure you didn't see Nick?
Positive. I haven't taken my eyes from the entrance all night.
Not that I don't trust you, George. But I'm positive Nick is here. Is there another entrance?
Not that I know of.
Well, I'll go look for one. Help me out if you can, would you? Emily, I want you guys to...
Wait out here, I know. I'm not gonna fight you about this anymore. But promise me this. If there's trouble, then you'll call us in, okay? You might not think so, but we're a team.
A team?
That's what I think, at least, and I'm interested in you and Zach. I don't want anything to happen to you before I hear more about you two.
Zach, did you hear that? She wants to know more about you. Isn't that a nice surprise? Amazing.
Nick. Huh?
Agent Morgan, where are you? Answer me! Come on, open up!
Diane? George, call for assistance with the body.
Wait! She's still alive.
Diane, don't move. Don't move your hands and stay still.
George, it's no good. It won't budge.
Emily, stand back.
There's not enough time. George, catch us!
Thomas! Call an ambulance!
What? A what?
Agent York, George, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. I think I'm too old to be an acrobat, though.
Diane looks okay, too. She should be able to tell us who did this to her.
God, I hope so. But you, George, quite a catch. I'm impressed. Hmm?
George? Diane.
Oh, what a beautiful beast. Do we to run her fear off in many directions, culminating in sharp voices right away interrupting us, inspiring a truly deep eroticism in all who create. Every woman will find herself about being penetrated by those sharp voices. This piece is most undeniable desire. And yes, this is far more than a wooden piece of art. It is a piece of masterpiece wherever the dinosaurs themselves. Now, come closer. Beg its beauty.
Diane! Stop right there, Nick. You're under arrest for the attempted murder of Diane Ames. Huh.
Back off! Don't touch me!
Diane, no! Move!
Emily, hurry!
I requested, and
Thomas will need a body bag, too. Nick, quiet.
Can you hear that?
Hmm?
I think he wants us to follow him. Shall we follow Zach?
Sorry to keep you waiting, boys.
Zach, Emily is already a goddess of the forest.
Let's forget work for a bit and drink a little, shall we?
York? Why is she here?
I just thought the more the merrier. You know, to relax and get loose. Is this a problem?
No, of course not. Pardon me, Emily, but I'm pooped. I think I'll just call it a night.
George, I just got here and you're walking out on me? I was hoping the three of us could have a drink and let out a little steam.
I'm afraid I've already had enough. And I already had a good man-to-man with York. So I'll see you guys.
I think George likes you, but he's avoiding you all at the same time.
How astute.
There's a reason?
Nothing worth going into. It's a thing of the past. Okay. He did ask me out when I first came to town. I was still in high school. But I never really considered him my type. And there's the age gap thing, too. I respect him, of course. I wouldn't have taken this job otherwise.
So, did you move to this town alone?
Of course not. I came with my parents.
Tell me about them then.
Sure, why not? My dad dealt in stocks in New York. He was hardly at home when I was a kid, always working. Those pieces of paper were far more important to him than I was. Which is no different now, really. I don't see much of him. My mother? Totally different story. A wonderful person that I still respect. She was always kind and understanding. Not only that, but she would always help me find my way. She could be fierce, too, scolding me if I took a wrong step. We had our battles, sure, but all in all, she was a wonderful mother.
Past tense?
Yeah, she's gone now. Cancer, just before I graduated high school. She gave this to me just before she died. I take it with me wherever I go. It's what I treasure most.
I'm sure she's very proud of you.
I had a good time tonight. Good night.
See you tomorrow.
York.
Yes?
Please, don't lie to us, okay?
I won't. Don't worry. I won't. Emily? What's going on? Do you know what time it is?
I'm sorry. I couldn't sleep, so I was drinking alone.
My mother was a very kind woman. She always smiled so brightly. Baked cakes and cookies every day. She'd say that I needed the sugar because I spent so much time thinking. My father was always quiet. We never talked much. He was a federal agent, just like me. And he was hardly ever at home. The only words he ever had for me were harsh ones. I had a vivid imagination, and I remember he once said this to me. There are plenty of crazy things in this world. You don't have to go dreaming them up. And it's my job to make sense out of them. One day you'll understand what I'm saying. I found out later that my father was one of the first to ever use criminal profiling to catch bad guys. And so now I'm doing exactly the same job that he did. Like father, like son.
Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
Mind if it's something personal?
Fire away.
Who's Zach?
Zach is a friend of mine.
Oh, so you do have friends.
Yeah. He's my only friend.
What kind of person is he then?
I've never seen his face. But he's always with me, and we discuss everything.
When did you become friends?
A long time ago. Back when I was a child. I was 7. I woke up one morning to hear my mother crying in the living room. This wasn't normal, so I headed in to see her. My father was there pointing a gun at my mother. I was so scared. I closed my eyes, so I don't remember much more. But I do remember the words my father said to me. At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist, even if it means losing someone that you love. When I came back to my senses, they were both dead. He shot my mother and then killed himself.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Zach's with me. It was around that time that we became friends.
I'm here. I'm with you, he said. I'll be here always. We can get through this together. Quite aside from that terrible scene in front of me, that voice seemed to make me calmer. And here we are, working together, getting through things.
This is the first time I've ever told anyone about this. I wonder if Zach will get angry.
That's a sad story. But I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I'm sure there was a reason for what your father did.
I know. I think maybe I became an agent to find out why he did what he did.
Oh yeah, York, I forgot to thank you.
Thank me? For what?
You saved my life. If you didn't save me at the gallery, I would have died along with Diane.
No need to thank me for that. I'm pretty useless. I couldn't save Becky. I couldn't save Diane.
What did you just say? Useless? I was never expecting to hear you say that. Huh. There might be a modest guy in you after all.
Finally, you noticed? You're a little slow, aren't you?
Maybe hopeless, but not useless.
Zach, do you think Emily got home safely?
Anyway, I think it's more serious of a situation than I thought. Do you remember our conversation with Emily? She's really interested in you. I think she's starting to have certain feelings for you.
If that's the case, Zach, you and I are rivals. This is a very serious situation indeed.
Well, if it comes to that, let it be a fair fight. Agreed? So, how's the chemistry experiment coming along?
An experiment? I'm doing my best to learn how to cook better, thank you very much.
Sorry if I touched a nerve. I just couldn't resist it.
Well, anyways, how about trying a taste for me then?
You mean a taste of this?
Well, I think it came out pretty good. But I want to hear other people's opinions so I can improve my cooking. So come on, please.
This is shocking, Zach. She's serious.
So, what do you think? Come on, tell me.
It isn't entirely inedible.
What's the best way of saying that then, Zach?
Ah, of course. It tastes like a... Nice try. Emily, no need to get so depressed. This dish just needs one more ingredient. You need a certain fermented dairy product, and this will be perfect.
A dairy product? What?
If we get the chance, Zach and I will bring it to you.
Then we can mix it in and I'll try it again, okay? What do you say?
Thank you, Agent York. I won't get my hopes up too high, but I'll be here.
Emily, the answer is cheese.
Cheese? This does taste good. Like something Thomas made.
I agree it's good, but this isn't in the same league with Thomas's cooking. His cooking is so precise, so delicate. I'm looking for an example here. It's like listening to classical music during tea time on a holiday afternoon. This, however, is far more wild and running free. The two are opposite poles, really. Making yours, like... Anyway, both are edible, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
Enough. But how did you know the cheese was the answer?
I was looking at the ingredients, and it hit me. Milk, macaroni, flour, butter. You were trying to make macaroni and cheese, right?
Macaroni and cheese? Of course not. It's Italian beef stew.
Zach, have you ever heard of a beef stew with no beef in it? I certainly haven't. At least not until today.
Agent York. Sure, it wasn't perfect, but I'm glad I managed to make something edible. Here's a little something to say thank you for your help.
Hey, Emily. Something smells good.
Really? I'm trying to make a meatloaf this time.
A meatloaf, huh? Nice. That's a basic dish for every household.
Yep, my mother cooked it pretty often too. Would you like to give it a taste?
Again? Well, I can...
Don't worry, I've done the poison testing already, and I made something pretty tasty last time, didn't I?
Emily, maybe we should do this another time.
So, how's it taste?
Emily, I have to admit this one is hard to comment on. One can insert it into their mouth, that much is certain. But I'm not sure if the human digestive system can handle this and digest it. Come now, Emily, no need to get depressed. It's just like last time. We just need to identify the missing ingredient, and that might turn today's cooking into a tasty dish.
So, what is it this time?
I'm thinking a vegetable. One that becomes sweeter when heated.
A sweet vegetable? I have no idea.
Then Zach and I will bring it to you like last time.
Okay, I'll keep trying by myself, too.
Emily, the answer is onion.
Onion? The meatloaf is finished.
And it tastes good, too.
It really is good, isn't it? Probably good enough to sell.
Emily, this certainly tastes good. But if I were you, I wouldn't quit my job to become a cook just yet. It'll be a tough career move.
You think so? I'd like to get other people's opinions, too.
I can't recommend that. I'm trying to be polite about this, you know.
Then you should stick to being polite until we finish eating. I can't believe you're the only person I have to eat this fine meal with.
Zach, we search for ingredients for her.
and we help her with her cooking. We even went as far as to praise the taste. And yet she still gets angry. Are all women this way? Do they all just snap like this? Either way, I can't figure her out.
Agent York, I'm sorry if I got a little emotional on you, but I'm glad I was able to make a good meal today. I know this isn't much, but please, I want you to have it. It's still not right.
You've certainly gone to town this time, haven't you?
There's something I really want to cook, but I can't remember what it is.
You can't remember? It's something you want to cook, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's something my father made for me once, a long time ago. My mother was sick, so he had to cook. That was the only time he cooked. I remember how it tasted, and I wanted to make the same dish, but no luck. I also remember what it looked like, but I have no idea what was in it.
And you still decided that you'd give it a try anyways. Amazing. Most people would give up without even trying, Emily.
Do you have a problem with this? Okay, so I was nostalgic and emotional, but I wanted to give it a try.
I'm sorry. I need to watch my mouth. Who am I to comment on your private issues? I'll make up for it by helping you look for the right ingredients.
You will?
Yes, of course. This will make a nice break from the investigation for me. Now then, what kind of dish was it?
Various different ingredients placed on top of an English muffin, with some kind of sauce on top, a yellow sauce. He learned it from a diner close to where he worked in New York.
So a New York-style yellow sauce. Do you remember anything else?
Well, there were two things on the muffins. Something chewy and salty, and something soft with two colors.
Okay then, Emily, I think I know what you're talking about. I'll go and look for the ingredients. You try to remember some more.
Sounds like a plan.
Well then, let's try to recreate this taste from her past. What do you say, Zach?
Emily, here's one.
This is definitely right. We're getting closer to how it tasted.
Great.
A yellow sauce and something chewy and salty.
Emily, here's another one.
This is great. Now this is getting close. One more step and we'll be there. Only one more ingredient. Something salty and chewy. He cut it with a knife before cooking it, so it must be meat or a fish.
Emily, here's another one.
This is it! That's exactly what it tasted like.
Eggs Benedict.
Huh.
The name of this dish. It's a popular breakfast dish in Louisiana. Your father was quite a chef then.
What do you mean?
This is much harder to make than it looks, Emily. You have to bring it to the table with all the ingredients at the same temperature. And that requires preparation, timing, and skill. You'd have to be pretty good at these three things to make a really good Eggs Benedict.
Really? I never thought of him as a skilled cook. I haven't talked to him for ages. We've been kind of separated. I wonder what he's doing now.
Do you have his number?
I think so. Probably stuck in the old picture album.
Emily, just interrupt me if I'm out of line here, but I'd like to tell you how I like to think about these things. People develop their own personality through interaction with other people. Whether they like it or not, that's how it happens. I don't know anything about the past between you and your father, but the fact is, you enjoyed making something that he cooked for you. He's a big part of your past, which means he's part of you. That's normal, and you have nothing to be ashamed of. So why don't you give him a call?
But I wouldn't know what to say.
You can talk about this recipe. That'll be a good place to start.
Thank you, York. I'll give him a call after you leave. I don't want you standing over my shoulder for this.
Okay, good.
Here, take this. A gift for helping me with my cooking today, and for everything else. York, I can't find Thomas. Was he here?
No, I haven't seen him. Have you tried the radio?
I've been trying, but he's not answering.
What about Nick?
No problem with him. He's calmed down a little. He's still saying he didn't do it. Nick said that Thomas disappeared sometime during the night. He kept calling for him, but Thomas stopped responding. I'm a bit worried. George has asked for permission to search for Thomas.
I understand that things have been hard for Thomas, but surely he's just resting at home. But I'm not against looking for him. Tell George that he has my blessing.
Okay. As far as I know, Thomas always calls in when he needs a day off.
We're human, and so we are limited. As far as you know, there haven't been any serial killings here before, right?
That's right, but that's not...
Emily, I'm going to see Harry today.
What? Why? We have plenty of other leads to follow, don't we?
He did invite me over, though. It would be bad manners not to accept.
Are you really an FBI agent? I think the FBI would take a more logical approach to investigations.
But Emily, a serial killer does not stay within the boundaries of logic. Thus, you can't hope to capture such a killer using only logic. That's why I'm going to see Harry. You go with George and find Thomas.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Great. Thanks.
I was an idiot for thinking he might be a good pick. I really need to work on my taste in men.
So, Zach, about Emily. My first impression when we met her on that bridge is slightly different from what I think about her now. Don't you think she's pretty mesmerizing? And Zach, she seemed interested in you. Did you make a move on her? No, don't answer. I'm just asking. But if you like her, I won't stand in your way. But I'd like to hear the truth. Because this kind of stuff could affect our friendship, you know. Me? I'm just interested in her, that's all. It isn't love or anything. From what I can tell, she doesn't even seem to like me. It's pretty clear from how she acts when she's around me. As you know, Zach, I'm cautious with women. It's because I was badly burned in my last relationship. I really have no idea what women are thinking. That's my problem. You're pretty friendly with the ladies, aren't you, Zach? Maybe you should teach me about how to interact with women. Anyway, Zach, there aren't many young women left in this town. Even Emily could be targeted next. We can't rule that out. All the more reason to catch the Raincoat Killer ASAP. And that means working closely together. We can work out the Emily situation later.
Don't get me wrong, Zach. I mean, I'm not interested in Emily because she's female or anything. I'm just saying she's interesting. You know, as in interesting person. But by looking at her, she reminds me of something I used to feel. That's all. Like back when I first met you. You know that feeling we all used to feel back when we were kids? Feeling safe while also feeling that need to protect, that kind of feeling. But Zach, who made me feel that back then? Anyways, we're getting closer one step at a time to cracking this case. And I have a feeling it's going to get tough.
York! I told you! That's nothing more than local folklore.
Harry said that he was there.
The Raincoat Killer is a phantom, made up to scare children long ago. I can't believe you fell for that from Harry, of all people.
I agree with George. Harry likes to play with people. Play with their minds, too.
George, Emily. Of course I don't believe him word for word. But you won't mind if I at least try to confirm that he's wrong, will you?
Well then, can you look for the files by yourself? I'm still looking for Thomas.
Very well.
Emily, open the filing room for him.
George, I'll get right to the point. It looks like someone else has just removed the documents I'm looking for.
Huh? Removed?
The cabinet looks like it had been forced open.
That's impossible. No one could break into there.
No, Emily. There is one person that can access that room at any time.
You don't mean Thomas?
It's too early to speculate. And profiling is my job, remember? More importantly, Emily, could you get me a coffee? A fresh one if possible.
Coffee? At a time like this? Why now?
Emily, please. This is very important. Some coffee. And bring some milk on the side.
Zach, you know something, don't you? I'm getting us some coffee. So tell me what you know.
Ah, Zach, this is amazing. Even the taste of her coffee is thrilling, to say the least.
What?
No, nothing. This isn't the cup that Thomas always uses for me, is it?
I'm sorry about that too, then. I just used a cup that was nearby. You have a problem with that?
A problem? Not at all, my dear Emily. The coffee is perfect. Well, okay, taste aside, this cup certainly is perfect. George, Emily, we're going to Velvet Falls. There's something waiting for us there. I can feel it.
York, are you joking? You're trusting your cup?
No, Emily. Going to a waterfall just might be a good idea. In feng shui, a waterfall is known to be a source of power. Even if we find nothing there, I'm sure it will give us some power.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, George. And don't forget to bring a fishing rod.
All right. I'll go get it.
Fishing? Are you too serious?
George, do you have a net?
Good fishing, Zach. We've caught something to brag about now. In all the history of the FBI, I'm probably the only one who fished out documents thrown into a waterfall. Don't you think so, Zach?
I just don't believe it. Files from a waterfall. What does that all mean?
It's called The Legend of the New Raincoat Killer. George, have you ever seen this handwriting?
Yes. It's Thomas's.
George, I need to take these documents to Harry. He said he'd tell me everything once I take the docs to him.
But those are classified. I can't allow a civilian to view them. Especially that deranged old goat who owns most of the town.
I agree with George. Harry is... how can I put it? He might be dangerous.
You don't need to worry. You said it yourselves, didn't you? There has never been a mass murder case in this town. That means these documents pertain to a case that never actually happened. Just look at it as though they never actually existed either.
Ridiculous.
York, I'm sure you've got a plan or something in mind? Okay. You have my approval.
George, are you sure?
Emily, we need to continue looking for Thomas. Our search may just have become a hunt.
Yes, get on it. I'll go see Harry alone.
Okay.
I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it for myself. But Thomas?
There's got to be a rational explanation for this.
Zach, George has started to change. I think the deaths of Becky and Diane had a deep effect on him. These girls, Zach. Do you see the resemblance? Anna, Becky. She looks like Diane. And Carol. Zach, look. Emily. Huh?
Emily!
At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist, even if it means losing someone that you love.
Stop!
Zach, did you see that? I must be getting tired.
York, we found Thomas.
Ah, he's at his house, right?
How did you know that?
Timing, Emily. Good timing.
Whatever, just get in. George is heading over there already. Let's get a move on.
Zach, things are finally starting to come together. All we need now is for Thomas to fill in the blanks in our new legend.
George, what's happening?
We received an anonymous call informing us that Thomas returned home. I sent Emily to get you right away.
No idea who made the call?
No. That's why I came on ahead, to see if the information was correct. A light did come on, but only for a second. I saw a tall male silhouette in the window. It was Thomas.
Okay. I'm going in then. You two wait here.
We'll be ready to burst in at any moment. Just call out.
If I hadn't seen Yor come into the bar, well, you wouldn't have found this place, would you? Now how about that? I guess I've always been lucky when luck was needed. That's why I've been able to stay in business, too. Although we have Willie to thank for finding this room, I suppose. He's got a great nose. Clever, too. He'd be a great businessman if he wanted to be. I owed you guys one anyway, and I owed York big time, too. You guys didn't tell anyone about that whole thing with Diane. I want to help you guys out. Is there anything I can do?
Kaysen, I appreciate the offer. But this is a police matter. You can leave everything to us from here.
Oh, well, okay.
George, look. These cigarettes. They're the same brand that York smokes. He's definitely been here.
Carol's been missing since the bar closed last night. This town will be deserted if this keeps up.
What do you think is really happening here in Greenville?
Emily, let's focus on looking for York. I just hope there are more leads than a cigarette butt around here.
Hey, Willie, of course! You can track his scent, can't you, boy? What do you think, officers? Let him help you out, why don't you? Oh, he'd make a fine police dog.
I told you we don't need...
Sounds good, Kaysen. We need all the help we can get. Come on, George. Let's let them help us.
But they are civilians.
Do you have a better plan? As we speak, York might be...
All right. Let's have them help.
Thank you, George.
But one thing. With York missing in action, I'm back in charge. And York would give me hell if something bad happened to you guys. So promise me you'll call for backup at the first sign of danger.
Yes, of course.
I think we're missing something here. So I'm going to look around a bit longer. You go with Kaysen and follow York's trail.
Thank you, George. We're counting on you, boy. Welcome to the force, Deputy Willie.
Let's get rolling then.
Okay, I'm counting on you, Willie.
Oh, not counting on me, though, are you? Sheesh. He can be a little selfish, but he's a good dog. He stayed with me all this time, through all the good and the bad.
How long have you been together?
Oh, we go back a long time. I can't even remember a time when he wasn't around.
I had a dog when I was small, too. He was a beagle, so we named him B. Stupid name, I know. He hated being left alone and always followed me around. I could tell him anything, even things I couldn't tell my parents. He'd look into my eyes and listen intently to anything I had to say. It's like he sympathized, and he didn't make fun of me. He would just listen. When I was done talking, he'd put a paw on my thigh. My worries just faded away when he did that. Made me feel like I was just a fool for worrying so much. Dogs are great that way.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I think they got a lot more wisdom than us humans. Even if they are betrayed, well, they don't see it that way. Sure sounds foolish, but you know dogs, why, they're always happy. I'm positive that even if man perishes off the face of the earth, dogs, why, they'll just carry on, regardless. They see everything, you know. From their dog houses, they look out and they see what humans do.
Kaysen.
Oh, look, Deputy Willie's calling for us. He's always like that. Let's get back to the chase.
What's wrong? Something's bothering you.
Oh, no, it's just... I promised to have tea with Polly. I just remembered.
What's that got to do with anything?
Yep, you're right. This just isn't the time, I know. But it's... well, she reminds me of my mother who passed away.
Kaysen.
I've been a salesman for a long, long time. I never had time to talk with my mother, you know. Sales, they were the thing for me. No matter what happened, this was more important. So even when she was sick, I put more energy into my work, which I regret now. And you know, when I heard she died, I was on my way home, all happy. I closed a big deal in Jersey. Just when you want to give something back, you got no one to give it back to. Well, that's when I met her, Polly. I thought heaven had given me another chance. I really did. So I always stay in that hotel whenever I come up here. Oh, sure, the rooms are great, but in all honesty, I go there because I want to talk with Polly.
Does Polly know all this?
No way. I'd never say anything so embarrassing to her. She'd think I've got some crazy mother complex or something. Right, let's get going. Deputy Willie disapproves of any chit-chat. I'll make it up to Polly some other time, I guess.
Zach, I'm hungry, but I can't do much about that at the moment. Thomas is certainly a great cook. It's a shame to keep his cooking hidden out here in the countryside. Don't you think so, Zach?
Ugh!
Which reminds me, there's another great cook in town. To fall in love with her would mean that I would need to love her cooking, too. Why does God test us so, I wonder? That coffee she made. Man, did that pack a punch. I wish you could have tasted it, Zach.
It's only a hunch now, but I don't think Nick killed Diane.
What do you mean?
Me and Diane, we were, you know, pretty close. Oh, sure, some people might have moral issues about it all, but I'd like to think that I knew her pretty well. Every time we finished talking, she'd bring up art. I'd make a face, you know, boring. And she'd always say, "You're so different from Nick. He's so much more intelligent."
Sounds like something she'd say.
Nick was one of the few people who she could talk to, you know. And vice versa for Nick, I suppose. Diane also told me that she was best friends with Nick. He'd have nothing at all to gain by killing her. I can't believe that one would try to kill the other. I just can't.
But even the best of friends can end up in the worst fights.
Still, the voices and footsteps I heard that night, they were something else. Much more violent, more horrifying. Diane's voice sounded different, too. Different. Hard to explain. Of course, I couldn't make out what she was saying.
You told York all this?
Of course I did.
What did he say?
I know, that's fine. Something like that. Let's go then, and catch Diane's killer.
Zach, about Emily. Don't you feel almost Nostalgic looking at her. I don't think I've ever felt that way looking at a woman before.
No, I'm wrong. It's a long time ago now, though. Do you remember that incident, Zach?
Anyways, I was very surprised when she came to my hotel room. Not in a funny way, don't get me wrong. It was really exciting, though. I thought I heard my heart thumping inside, you know?
It's inappropriate during an investigation. Right, Zach?
Are you close to the Ingrams?
No, I mean, well, I always say hi when I see them at their store.
Don't you think they make a wonderful family?
I guess so. Including Jim, I suppose they do.
Indeed they do. The ideal family, I'd say. You know that I look after Isaac and Isaiah pretty often, right? They talk a lot when I take them out. Yesterday, Mama and Papa, and this morning, Grandpa, always about their family. Just listening to them makes me feel so happy. I don't have any brothers, you know. Maybe I'm a little jealous of those two. That's why when I come here, I always pay them a visit. Greenville is really like a second home to me.
I can tell.
Deputy Willie's calling again. Enough about me. Let's get going.
For some reason, in the darkness, I see Emily's face. When I first met her on the bridge, she looked so dignified. And that glimmer in her eyes when she argues every word I say. Her blonde hair lit by the dawn. Eating steak at the diner. Giving me directions in the car. The horror on her face in the gallery. And that coffee she made. And it's like she's a goddess in a tight dress.
Zach, let's pray that she doesn't become a real goddess.
Willie, York is nearby?
Good job, Willie. Can we stop running now, please? Hey, so we took the long route here. You weren't playing with us, were you?
George, we found out where York is. George? George!
Kaysen, I'm going in alone.
Hey, you didn't forget what George said.
No, I haven't. And that's why you get to stay out here and keep trying to contact him. I'm just going to check things out. I'll stay out of danger. Trust me.
Okay, if you say so. I'll take care of this here.
You sure took your time.
Thomas, you've got nowhere to run now. Just surrender yourself.
Emily, I've been waiting for you.
Where's York? Is he okay?
He's quite the handsome one, isn't he? I liked him the moment I saw him. He likes someone else, of course. Who do you think that is?
I'm asking you if he is okay. Answer me.
Oh, yes. He is handsome. But me and Carol, we love not him, but a different person. My lovely Jean.
Cut the crap. Do you know what you're doing?
Why, yes, I do. All too well. Far better than you do, I think. You know nothing about yourself, nor this town.
Please don't make me shoot you.
You're a silly, sad little woman. We're heading for devastation. All of us. and no one can stop it.
Oh, Thomas. You're sick. But there's still time. We can get you help. I'll help you.
You're too kind, Emily. As kind as a goddess. That's why he likes you. This town is soiled, and only you are shining in it.
That's right, Thomas. Let's just leave here together.
It was so much better back then. We had so much fun. Emily, that was before you came. I won't let you have him! You filthy pig!
Thomas, don't make me shoot again. Surrender and turn yourself in.
Emily,
Thomas.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's enough, Thomas. Just come over here.
Emily, I just... I hate you so much. Die, you skanky swine! You stinky mutt! Get away! Get away from me! Get off!
Thomas!
Oh! Is that Thomas hanging there? Oh my god. He looks like a strung-up turkey. Hey!
York! Are you okay?
I'm fine. Got to spend some quality time with Zach. I heard gunshots. Did you get our man?
York. Thomas is dead. I shot him. He tried to kill me.
Thomas. I suppose that this is the fate you talked about. But Emily, what about the murderer?
I just told you I had to shoot Thomas.
Thomas's actions may have surprised you, I understand that. But our job is to catch the killer, isn't it? You didn't let the killer get away.
York, are you saying that Thomas was not responsible for the murders?
What? That makes no sense.
Emily, are you out of your mind? Thomas was certainly neck deep in this. But he didn't kill the girls. He has concrete alibis for all 3 murders. He also doesn't have the reverse peace symbol on his back. These are basic facts that for sure you haven't forgotten.
Then who?
I need you to be strong, Emily. If Thomas is not the killer, then there is only one other possibility. The only one with free access to the department files, and doesn't have an alibi at the time of the killings. Love G himself.
George? George is the killer? And since when did you start thinking this?
I wasn't sure to start with, but you saw the pictures, right? In that secret room in Carol's bar. That was when I became 100% positive.
But George didn't have the tattoo on his back.
Ah, right. He doesn't have a tattoo on his back. But there is a pattern there.
What do you mean?
Emily, I'm not saying that the pattern was the tattoo. Remember what Harry said. There isn't a single thing that can maintain its shape for eternity. And George's back is a perfect example.
Hey, you two! Could you explain this so I can understand what's going on?
Emily, come in.
Emily here. I've rescued Agent York from the clock tower. Thomas is dead. I was forced to shoot him.
I see. And you two both all right?
York is a little weak, but we're heading back to the department now.
Okay. I'll do the same.
Emily, George is a friend of yours, isn't he?
Yes.
Then what we are about to do is going to be tough to deal with. Are you willing to go through with this?
York, I'm deputy sheriff. This might be a small town, but I take pride in that. It's my duty to make sure that we catch all the bad guys in Greenville. Even if it means facing an end that I would never have hoped for.
Okay. Then let's get moving. This case is going to end at the sheriff's department.
This is madness! Willie, come on, let's go with him. Chickening out now would be like leaving after eating the appetizers.
Emily, I'm going in from the front. You secure the back.
Okay.
What should I do?
Kaysen, stay at the entrance.
No, don't cut me out now. If this was a movie, I'd be some minor nameless character. And I thought I was the cheerful sidekick that helped solve the case.
Carol, are you okay? George did this to you.
Thomas. He's dead. I shot him. I had to. Carol? Carol?
Kaysen! Rush to the hospital. She needs a full stomach and liver cleansing.
York, you need to come too. She needs...
No, I have to take care of something here.
But I can't take her alone.
Please, Kaysen.
Okay, I'll do it, fast. But if something happens, don't blame me, okay?
Just go!
I haven't been this emotional in a long, long time. Can you tell, Zach? So, Zach, I'm thinking of asking Emily out for dinner once this is all over.
Nothing too fancy. Just somewhere where we can relax. You know what? Nick's Diner might be a good idea. I think I owe him a nice big tip, too.
I'm sorry, but I can't allow you to go with your parents yet. There is still something you need to do. Open that envelope.
Agent York, finally you're awake.
How long have I been out?
A whole day, plus 10 hours or so. I wanted to challenge you to a game, but you were asleep.
Emily. Which room is Emily in?
Emily? What, she hurt too? She hasn't come into the hospital.
What? I told Kaysen to bring her here.
Kaysen? Well, Kaysen came. I mean, he's the one who brought you here. Which reminds me. He asked me to give you this.
What is it?
I don't know. He just asked me to hand it to you after you woke up. Anyway, you solved the case, right? Hey, do you want to play some chess?
Sorry. I'll have to take a rain check. I have an urgent issue I need to attend to, and I need to leave the hospital.
Zach, it looks like George really had a thing for Emily.
And finally you arrive, York.
George is dead. You've got nowhere left to run.
George! Oh, right, George. He was a funny one. I gave him a toy locket, and he was so impressed, so moved. But he wasn't very intelligent. He was born in this town, you see, and it took him too long to discover the red seeds. Binding down people with rules is a sign of small-mindedness, and that was what George represented in life.
I'm taking Emily.
Oh, but I can't allow that now, can I? York, you left her to me, in my care, remember? I told you to come with us, didn't I? You must remember that. But you didn't come. You chose your job over the woman that you love.
Casey, this chit-chat is over.
Over? Indeed it is. My fun with Emily ended just a moment ago. It was a fantastic moment. Like eating a full-course dinner that ends with the ultimate dessert. I fed her a fake story about my past, and she took in every word.
Cut out your nonsense. I told you, no more talk.
There you go, York. That's right. Feel the hate boiling from the bottom of your stomach. That's what makes little men create such great and amazing history. Just like tiny ants that make giant ant hills. You know, I just had dessert, and yet I'm already hungry again. No wonder why I keep failing at keeping a diet.
Kaysen, stop. The next one will pierce you between your eyes.
York.
Emily, it's me. I'm here. Don't worry. Everything will be fine now.
York? Is that you? Oh, thank God. York,
Emily, no. That isn't me.
York. York. Oh.
Emily!
York, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Emily. Hurry, come over here. We need to get you to the hospital.
I can't. I can't go to you. I've been soiled.
No, that's not true. You have a heart that can't be soiled. No matter what happens to your body, you are still yourself.
York,
Oh, didn't I tell you? Getting these saplings to sprout requires a certain technique. What do you think? Artistic, isn't it? It's like a surrealistic painting.
York, shoot me.
Emily?
Let me die. Please. York.
do.
I'm sorry, my darling.
Let her go!
Remove that sapling from her body, Kason.
Xander, it's too late. Once it's like this, I can't do anything to stop it.
Please, darling, shoot me. I'd rather die. If you love me, let me die.
At times, we must purge things from this world because they should not exist. Even if it means losing someone that you love. Yes, I couldn't do it. However, you can. When the time comes and you have to make that decision, make the right one.
Okay, Zach? Zach. Morgan. Francis. Zach. Morgan. Francis. Zach. Morgan.
I saw you, Zach.
Hey, Zach. It's okay. I'm here. I'm with you. I'll be with you always. We can get through this together. Who are you? My name is York. Me and you will always be together. Okay, Zach? I'm you, and you are me. Now, give me your hand.
I remember. I traded places with York. York, the other me. My other personality.
Zach, please shoot. Kill me.
York, what should I do? Tell me what to do, York. Zach, you have to decide for yourself what you must do. I'll be with you no matter what you decide. Don't worry. There are some things in this world that must be extracted, no matter what. Even if that means losing someone that you love.
I can't do it. I can't kill Emily.
I'm sorry, Zach.
Stop. Emily!
Ladies and gentlemen, and now the grand finale.
Emily, what have you done?
Zach, I wasn't used as soil at all.
You're beautiful. The most beautiful person I've ever seen.
Thank you, Zach. I wanted to be with you.
Emily, no. You aren't supposed to go over there. That's not the way. Come back, Emily.
York and Zach. Finally, I understand. You two really are best friends. I'm a little jealous.
Hey, stand up, Zach. It's up to you now.
Emily, I finally got to meet you face to face. But you had to go with York, didn't you? He always gets the girl. He's a good guy. You see that too, right? He kept talking to me and ended up pulling me back out of that room. I'm sure he'll make you very happy.
Why did you bring Zach back? Who the hell are you two? How did you get out of the Red Room?
It's because you don't understand humans.
Emily, York tries not to show it, but he's pretty shy. Don't wait for him to propose. Just ask him to marry you.
Hmm?
Are you leaving today?
Maybe.
Zach, that story I told you the other day, did you believe any of it?
The fact of the matter is that I couldn't save Emily. So it really doesn't matter whether I believed you or not.
I'm very sorry about her. There's something mysterious about that picture. There's a calming beauty to it, and yet it exudes sadness.
Harry, I have a few questions for you.
About what, Zach?
Your last name isn't really Stewart, is it?
That is correct. It's really Woodman. Harry Woodman. George was my son.
You were there in the White Room when I was there. Why?
The same reason as your father. Long, long ago, I too was unable to shoot my wife. What's worse is that I was also unable to kill myself. Which is why I lost both. The woman I loved and my son. My wife suffered from a mental illness, but I still loved her. I wanted to save George too, if I could. Everything was my fault. If only I had the courage to make the right decision, Emily and the other girls would not have died. But you have put an end to all of that.
I wonder if they are happy.
Zach, no need to worry about that. York will guide Emily and the other girls into the forest.
Hey, Michael. Mind stopping the car for a moment?
Very well, Mr. Francis Zach Morgan.
I heard you're leaving.
Uh-huh. That's right.
It's a shame about Emily, and the other girls too.
How are Isaac and Isaiah?
Oh, they're fine. They still don't think the girls are dead.
Give it to him yourself. He's right next to you.
Oh, okay. I understand. We'll do it for you.
Emily kind of told us to give this to you.
Emily said it's a present for Zach.
Thank you. Where did you get this?
Emily asked us to give it to you. See? She's over there.
There's another Zach there too. You're twins, just like us.
Emily couldn't give it to you herself. She said she's too embarrassed. So, she asked us to hand it to you.
Emily really likes you, Zach. She really likes you.
No, she doesn't. Not me. She really likes that guy York, the guy you see standing next to her.
Anyways, you two, Be nice to the girls, okay? And they'll be nice to you.
We don't like girls.
Girls are boring.
Gotta love him. Just full of energy.
Emily, York, sounds like you're both doing fine. I feel better about you two now. And hey, York, I figured out why George carried Anna's body all the way into the woods.
It was for them. He wanted Isaac and Isaiah to find her.
Mr. Francis Zach Morgan, if you are finished, if you are, please, let us return to the car.
No need for that. You can go home. I want to take a look around more.
Very well, then. I'm sure Mr. Stewart will approve of that.
Ah, thank you, Michael.
York, can you hear me? I'm a little jealous.
I'm all alone on this side now.
But don't worry, York.
I've had it easy for so long having you with me. I need to get used to being on my own.
One more thing, York. I hope things are going well with Emily.
You've always been horrible with women. I gave you tons of advice during your last relationship, and you ignored all of it. I'm sure Emily will take the lead. Just don't fight her. Let her steer you in the right direction.
Zach, it's great to see you again. How many years has it been? I've been close to you the whole time. You probably couldn't see me, but you felt my presence nearby, right, Zach? I never thought you'd get married and have a family. Quite a surprise. I spent years honing my profiling skills, but I never saw that one coming. That's what makes humans so interesting. And that's why I just can't leave you guys alone. More than anything else. Seeing you look so happy is the best thing I could ever ask for. Anyway, Zach, did you see the newspaper today? As it turns out, over the last 3 months, there's been a string of bizarre incidents near New Orleans. Residents there are reporting a sudden strike of nausea, and then they completely lose control of their bodies. Some have already had 2 months of only being able to walk backwards. Does that make you feel anything? It makes me feel something. I know you feel it too, Zach. Okay, Zach. I thought that's what you'd say. Well then, it's time to wake up, Zach.